Normally, if it's Friday night, it is Strictly Sports NFL Friday. For this week, it is Strictly Sports NFL Thursday. Hello, friends. Anthony Blair here with you for this special Thursday night edition of NFL Friday, Week 11. Michael Bullock here with me. Unfortunately, I think we probably have lost MF again tonight. Unlike last night, we're not going to wait. Um, so we're gonna get into the action here, and if he comes in, then we'll simply catch him up on what he missed. But if not, then hopefully we'll see him tomorrow night for our big NXT and Survivor Series show. But anyways, Week 11 is underway right now as we speak. Thursday night matchup with the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle, and what a game this is turning out to be. Green Bay up 21-17 as they get ready to start the second half. I mean, for the first time in a while, we could actually have an interesting Thursday night game because a lot of these Thursday games lately have been absolute duds. And who knows? Maybe these two could be the one to get them out of the funk. So we'll keep an eye on it. Bullock, I'm sure, is keeping an eye on it. And because I have all these screens that, I have to toggle through. So if anything happens, I know Bullock will come in and he'll let us know if anything significant goes down. So that's all I can say on that. So while we await any updates from that, let's get into the rest of the slate for Week 11 that goes down on Sunday. We started off with, and let me tell you, this is a great week of action, I'll tell you. And we're going to start it off with another interesting matchup, a matchup of the Dallas Cowboys squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons. This one at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta on Fox. We got Kevin Burkhardt, Charles Davis, and Pam Oliver on the call. And hold on one moment. Atlanta opening up as a 3 to 3.5 point favorite. Dallas leads the all-time series 14-11. And their last meeting was 2015 in Dallas, where the Falcons actually defeated the Cowboys 39-28 in Dallas. And of course, in the last meeting in Atlanta was 2012. The Falcons won that 1913. Dallas last won in Atlanta in 2006. That was a 38-28 final. So that's the story there. So the Cowboys should feel confident about Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and the rest of the offense in a good all-around matchup. The Falcons struggle with explosive backs, but their back-end pass defense gets a needed break against a capped receiving corps. Dallas can keep Atlanta's offense in check for a while, leading with Byron Jones on Julio Jones. But eventually, Matt Ryan will hit his groove at home to finish a comeback effort. So I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons to win this game. My final score, 27-23, Atlanta over Dallas. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts on Dallas and Atlanta as we start Week 11?
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? Especially when lose. I still can't get over the fact, Florio, they lost to the Cleveland Browns. If you asked me going into that game, did you, Florio, would ever think they would lose to the Cleveland Browns?
No, in Atlanta, most definitely. But Cleveland, Cleveland's hung in there. They're not as bad as they were last year. So, and the game was in Cleveland on top of that. So, but if it was in Atlanta, then I would have been.
Yeah, but like you said, both teams are 4-5. With 4-5 records, whoever loses this game is going to go 2 games below 500, and yeah, and to me, I think the Falcons need this more because, well, obviously it's in Atlanta, and because of losing to the Cleveland Browns last week. So, to me, I agree with you, Florio. I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons to win this one. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna let's try 31-24. Atlanta beats Dallas. Let's move on to our next early game in the 1 o'clock time frame.
Yes, indeed, and it's a matchup of the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens from M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. This one will be on. Hold on.
It's a pop up.
Yep. Bear with me for 1 minute. Gotta love pop-ups. I mean, that's all there is to it. Okay, so now that we have that little detail out of the way, Cincinnati Bengals, Baltimore Ravens at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, CBS, Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, Steve Tasker, and spread favors. Well, actually, I do not have a spread for this game. So, but besides the one spread that I see, this is a pick'em game. I'll just say it's a pick'em game. That's pretty much what this is. So, they met earlier this season. You remember they met back in week number 2 on a Thursday night in Cincinnati, and the Bengals, as you know, won that matchup on that week 2 Thursday night matchup, 34-23. So that was the final in that one. So that will change the history. Well, actually, it gave Cincinnati the lead. Cincinnati now leads the all-time series 23-22. It was tied going into that game, but with that Bengal win, it gave the Bengals 23-22 lead. So Bengals won in Baltimore last week. You all remember what happened the last time these two teams met in Baltimore. We'll never forget it. It was New Year's Eve, week 17.
Cincinnati. It was the Bengals that sent your team, the Bills, to the playoffs.
Yes, indeed. Andy Dalton, 4th and 12, dead to rights. Andy Dalton finding Tyler Boyd for the winning score and gave the Bengals a dramatic 31-27 win in Baltimore. Yes, indeed, sending my Buffalo Bills to the playoffs, and gave the fans an incentive to write a huge thank you note. Literally wrote a huge thank you note and some other things to Andy Dalton and the Bengal organization, including a massive supply of buffalo wings. So, but anywho,
and I think, and of course, during the preseason game, he actually had a chance to go to some visit some hospitals in Buffalo.
Yes, indeed, and yeah, that was a preseason game back in August. I remember that very vividly. But yeah, Bengals won 31-27 in Baltimore last year. Ravens' last home win against the Bengals was the year before, 2016. That was a 19-14 final. So, all right. So I think I got all the matches out of the way. So, all right, Bullock. Cincinnati and Baltimore, they met in week 2 on a Thursday. Cincinnati won 34-23, but the teams are much different this time since that matchup.
Yeah, the teams are different, but the thing is, Florio. I mean, there are some key injuries for the Baltimore Ravens. Of course, we don't know the situation with Joe Flacco. He has a hip problem. We don't know if he's going to be able to go, and if he can't, then who's going to step up? I mean, could it be RG3, or they could even put the rookie Lamar Jackson in there? So we're just gonna have to wait and see. But to me, I'm actually gonna go with the Cincinnati Bengals in this one. I'm gonna say, let's go. Excuse me. I'm gonna go. Oops, excuse me. I just lost it for a minute. So I'm gonna go 28-24. Cincinnati over Baltimore. So nothing more to say. Florio, I give it to you.
The Ravens could be starting Lamar Jackson at quarterback for the first time, given Joe Flacco's injury. That's a great thing because it will make Baltimore more focused on running the ball and using multiple tight ends to support Jackson and Alex Collins against a struggling Cincinnati front seven. Andy Dalton will continue looking mostly lost without A.J. Green. So, sorry, Bullock, I got to disagree with you on this one, respectfully. I got the Baltimore Ravens actually winning this one. My final score here, I'm going to go 30-20, Baltimore over Cincinnati. Moving on to our next matchup. This would have been the spot for the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. However, that game got flexed to Sunday night. So we're going to move on to the game that's after that one, and that is a matchup of the Carolina Panthers and the Detroit Lions at Ford Field in Detroit. So we're going to get the schematics ready for that one. Okay. So this one will be on Fox. We've got Kenny Albert, Rondé Barber, and Jennifer Hale on the call. And Carolina opening up as a 4.5-point favorite. Series history favors the Carolina Panthers 6-2. Panthers have won the last two meetings in this series, including last year in Detroit, 27-24. Lions' last home win against Carolina was 2011, 49-35. Matter of fact, that's the last time they beat them overall. So the other time Detroit came out on top against Carolina was their very first meeting back in 1999. So Carolina and Detroit, let's see what we have for this one. All right, excuse me 1 minute. All right, yeah, it's tough to do a show like this on a Thursday. I mean, I have another set of notes that I usually use, but I gotta go without them this time. But thankfully, I found another set. So here we go. The Panthers are not as good of a defensive team on the road, and that will allow the lowly Lions to linger with young offensive stars Kerryon Johnson and Kenny Golladay. Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey will be difficult for Detroit to slow down on the ground. However, and Carolina will feel good taking some play-action shots in the passing game. This still feels like a field goal escape at Ford Field. So I think Carolina will pull it out. And I'm going to go with that same score, 27-24, Carolina over Detroit. So, Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, here, Florida, we got Michael Fletcher here, so yeah. So, well, let me give you my quick thoughts on it, and then we can catch Fletcher up on the games that he missed here. So, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, like you said, I mean, it was a close one before with these two teams, but here's the thing: Carolina, I mean, they're 6-3, while while the Detroit Lions are going the other way. But I do agree. I think this could be a close one, but in the end, I think Carolina's gonna play really well here, and they're definitely gonna. I mean, Detroit will definitely give them some fits here, but in the end, I think Cam Newton will make some big plays. So I'm going to go with that same score, 27-24, Carolina over Detroit. So nothing more to say. Florida, let's get Michael Fletcher caught up here.
It's not often we say that. It's usually you, Bullock, but MF, hey, I'm glad you can make it. Let's get you caught up here on the action that Bullock and I have gone over so far. Only 3 games, so not too bad. First one, Dallas Cowboys against the Atlanta Falcons.
This one's actually a bounce back game for both teams. Dallas kind of had a big moment, a big win last week, knocking off the defending world champion, the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, Atlanta coming off an embarrassing defeat. And I do mean embarrassing defeat, as they were stunned by of all teams, the freaking Cleveland Browns beat them. I mean, that I don't know what is even worse. I mean, okay, I get it. With certain performances and certain teams last week, but you let the Cleveland Browns literally come into your place and you literally let them basically dominate you for literally almost the whole game. I mean, you made Baker Mayfield look like he was freaking Tom stinking Brady. You made Nick Chubb look like he was freaking Barry Sanders. What in the world was that performance, Atlanta? Dudes, I don't know what to say. So now they're going home against the Cowboys, who's coming off of literally one of the biggest wins of the season for them. Not, like I said, the 27-20 win. I'm literally on the fence. I'm literally on the fence here. I don't know who to pick. I'm kind of going with on a limb here, and I'm going to call for Dallas to knock. I'm going to openly admit I've lost faith with the Falcons. I can't trust them. Not anymore, especially after what happened last week. Florio, go.
All right, next game we're going to catch you up on, MF, and I think we've done a few of these in our day. Cincinnati Bengals, Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. We all remember what happened last time they met in Baltimore, now don't we?
Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Florio? Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a great game. This is going to be a great battle, no doubt about it. Get ready for a dogfight. That's all I'm going to say. Just get ready for a dogfight between these two teams. This is going to be an amazing showdown. Always, always, always a tough battle, tough fight. Going down to the wire. I expect that again. I am a little concerned about Joe Flacco. It doesn't look like he's going to go. That means Lamar Jackson, the rookie from Louisville, or
Yep.
There is no AJ Green for Cincinnati. That's a major loss there. So this is kind of going to be one of those tough, grueling. I'm going to say this could be a defensive struggle, guys. I don't think you're going to get much scoring on this one. Don't expect much scoring in this game. I'm going to say Baltimore wins 14-10. I'm going to say it. I think this is going to be a typical AFC North defensive struggle on basically be a man type fight. This is going to be a game that's going to be meant for me. Florio, don't expect much scoring in this game. Don't expect much offense in this game. I don't think you're going to get it. 14-10 Baltimore wins.
All right. And the game that Bullock and I just got through talking about, the Carolina Panthers against the Detroit Lions at Ford Field.
Tough game for Detroit, because you got a Carolina team that's looking really good now. They're really looking very good as of late. They're really playing some really good ball now. It looks like they're definitely got their legs under them. And it's going to be a tough battle, because you never know with Detroit. Because Detroit, they have their moments. They rolled up, destroyed the New England Patriots on Sunday night. They beat the Miami Dolphins pretty handily in Miami. So, they have their moments where they play really good. But when they go up against a really good team like Carolina, and Carolina's got weapons, man. Christian McCaffrey, Cam Newton, he's a dual threat. So I think Carolina will just have enough to get the job done. Carolina wins the game. Anthony, we're all caught up. Let's go to the next one.
Yes, indeed. And it's a good thing I forgot to mention who's on bye this week, because, gentlemen, all three of our teams are on bye this week at the same time. Can you believe that? Buffalo Bills. We also have the Cleveland Browns on bye, Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots, New York Jets, and San Francisco 49ers. So those are your bye week teams for this week. And I'm pretty sure that's got to be the first time ever that all three of our teams were simultaneously had the same bye week. So that's it. That's pretty cool. So, all right, let's move on now. And I believe I let off on the last one, so we'll let MF get the ball rolling on this one. This game just became interesting. This game definitely has some implications in the South and perhaps the wild card race. The Tennessee Titans squaring off against the Indianapolis Colts. This will be at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, and this one will be over on CBS. We got Andrew Catalan with James Lofton on the call, and Indianapolis opening up as 1 to 1.5 point favorites, although one other spread I see here has this as a pick'em game. And I can certainly understand that. So I don't believe these teams have met this season. I think this is their first meeting. I'm almost certain of that. So I don't recall them having met this season, unless I missed something. But
no, this is the first time. This is the first battle.
Okay, good. All right. Indianapolis leads the all-time series 31-15. However, Tennessee swept the season series last year, which meant Tennessee won in Indianapolis 20-16. And they snapped a long losing streak to Indianapolis at home. I mean, their win in Indianapolis last year was their first in 10 years, if you can imagine that. Tennessee last beat Indianapolis in Indianapolis 16-10 back in 2007. So it had been a 9-year drought for Tennessee and Indianapolis. But Indianapolis, of course, won the year before, 24-17 in 2016. So I believe that's all the schematics out of the way. So, MF, I'm going to start this with you here, since I led off on the last one. Tennessee and Indianapolis. All of a sudden, this game has some AFC South and maybe some wild card implications now.
Oh, absolutely. This taking a life of its own. Indianapolis looked pretty good against Jacksonville last week. It was definitely one of those. It was an interesting game. Let's just say that. I think everybody was very impressed with Indy. Indy started out slow, but let me tell you, man, Andrew Luck, man. I mean, he's definitely had some very lucky breaks in the last few weeks, looking really good, playing a lot more better than he did earlier in the season, and he's been very solid. Nothing more to say about that. And then, of course, the Tennessee Titans. I mean,
wow.
What can you say about that performance, man? They had basically the class of the AFC, the New England Patriots, rolling into Nissan Stadium, and they not only kicked the door down, but they were guns blazing on the New England Patriots. Without a doubt, it was one of the most embarrassing performances I've seen New England. I've seen some really good Patriots games. I've seen some really bad Patriot performances. Dude, this had to be one of the worst I've seen in the Brady Belichick era. I mean, it was that bad.
This was our game last week. This was our game last week. We couldn't believe it.
We were stunned. We were absolutely positively floored with the way that Tennessee came in. But, they did something. They found the blueprint. They found the blueprint of the New England Patriots. And it's the MO of the Patriots week in and week out. If you put pressure on Brady, if you rough up the receivers, if you get in their face and punch them in the mouth, I hate to say this, but sometimes the Patriots just don't like that. They don't like getting roughed up. They don't like to get blasted out of the water like that. It was one of those plays where one of the receivers tried to go down the middle and he got jacked up. and that made a lot of the other Patriots hesitant to go down the middle. A lot of them ended up having alligator arms, to say the very least. It was almost like in the Super Bowl when Brendan Cooks got laid out by Janoyan Jenkins. It's one of those things. So whatever the case may be, it was a great performance by Tennessee, and trust me, God, I wish their record was a lot more better, because I think we would have rewarded Tennessee handsomely for, well, they're 5-4. I mean, that would make them eligible for the power rankings, and trust me, they're going to be rewarded for what they did to the Patriots. No doubts in my mind. They're in. So, as far as this game goes, this is so tough, because the thing is, Tennessee, I don't know. It's like they're feast or famine, because one week they're really good, and then the next week you just don't know what you're going to get from them. After 3 straight losses, they've won 2 in a row over the Cowboys and over the Patriots. Maybe this is the turning point for them. Maybe they finally turn the corner here, but I don't know. I'm going to go with Tennessee for the win, but this is going to be pretty close, guys. I mean, 27-24 is my final score. Tennessee wins, but would I be shocked if Indy wins it? Absolutely not. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, and you have to say, like you said, Fletch, I mean, with the Tennessee Titans, what they did against the Patriots, I mean, they literally just they were physical with them and basically embarrassing them. I mean, Corey Davis, I mean, he had one hell of a game here, so that's a guy I think the Colts, they're going to have to keep an eye on, and of course, that offensive line for the Indianapolis Colts, they're gonna have to deal with Wesley Woodyard, because he had one hell of a game against the Patriots when he had 12 tackles and 1.5 sacks. So Luck's gonna have to really be careful here, and not only that, but they also gotta watch out for Brian Arakpo and Jarrell Casey. So yeah, it's not gonna be easy, but it will be close. I mean, Andrew Luck will make some big plays, but in the end, I got the Tennessee Titans winning this one. I'm going to go 20-24 Tennessee over Indianapolis. So, Florio, I give it to you.
Florio, go.
Okay, yep, I'm here. I didn't lose my connection. It's just slow. It's frozen. So, yeah. There are more than a few reasons to get absorbed in this game. Marcus Mariota versus Andrew Luck. Coaches Mike Vrabel versus Frank Reich. 2 teams turning things around after bad in-season stretches. A 3-way division race in which the loser will find itself in significant trouble. Fun stat, Andrew Luck has thrown the 2nd most pass attempts a game in the NFL, and among regular starters, Mariota has thrown the fewest. Let's take a moment and appreciate the variety of styles that we're going to have in this one. I mean, that's all there is to say on that. I mean, this one can go either way. I mean, this one, but at the end of the day, I'm leaning towards Tennessee myself. What they did against New England. I mean, we're still in awe. I mean, we had no idea that that New England was gonna just lay down like that and not even show up against Tennessee, especially in Nashville. I mean, especially handled them in that divisional game last January, but I don't know. But I'm definitely leaning towards Tennessee in this one. Very close. You remember I said one of the spreads had this as a pick'em, so I think I'm gonna go 29-28. in favor of Tennessee. Mariota and Luck, they're both playing at a high level and getting plenty of from their offensive lines, diverse weapons, and deep running games. The Titans have a defense built to stop the run and contain tight ends and will be able to pressure Andrew Luck, something recent Indy opponents haven't done. And the Colts, John Lewis and Derrick Henry, will get the better of the hosts on the ground. So I'm going to go with Tennessee to win this one. I'm going to say the final here will be 34-27 in favor of the Tennessee Titans. Should be a great, great matchup in Indianapolis. So let's move on to our next matchup. Now, gentlemen, this one was originally scheduled to be the Sunday Night Football game. The Pittsburgh Steelers against the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville, Everbank Field, TIAA Crefts Stadium, or whatever they call it now. This and on the call, Tim Nance, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson, they will be in Jacksonville for this Steeler Jaguar matchup, and I have to apologize in advance here because we got I do have a thing here going on the point where it's me when I have to do these things, but you know, it is what it is. So try my best to toggle through all of this, but all right, hold on. I do believe that I think I saw the Steelers were the favorites in this one, and as they should.
Yeah, the Steelers are favorites.
Yeah, I thought so. I believe they're like that. So
let's see.
I definitely remembered seeing that on. Okay, here we go. All right, it's loading up now. So
5 to 5.5 on the ESPN predictor. They got the Steelers at a 64% favorite.
So yeah, that's where I was getting my my information from when we normally do the Friday night show. But
yep.
But I at least I found a different source for my info for this week, and thankfully we'll be back on Friday next week. So nonetheless, as you know, these two teams used to be divisional rivals. You remember they used to be. All right, hold on. Yeah, it had to refresh, and 5.5 to 6. That's the spread I have here. 5.5 to 6 in favor of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and rightfully so. I mean, we're definitely looking at a much very, very slow. I do apologize. Very, very slow. Damn near frozen. I mean, always happens to me, of course. Okay, here we go. Jacksonville leads the all-time series 12-11. Of course, we all remember what happened last year. Jacksonville won them both a 30-9 beatdown in the regular season, and then that epic divisional game that MF and I had the pleasure of calling. I mean, oh man, we had a lot of fun on that one. Jacksonville winning that one. Jacksonville was in 2014. Pittsburgh won that one 17-9. And the last time the Jaguars beat the Steelers at home, we got to go back to 2006. That was a 9-0 beatdown. Michael Bullock, I apologize for the wait. I mean, I think everything should be back in order here. So I went through all the schematics. Now, this game was supposed to be the Sunday night game, but got pushed back to this slate only for one reason, and that is Jacksonville. What is going on? Making me look like an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. What is going on with them? I mean, they're looking like I mean, they're looking terrible. I mean, so much
Like the Dutch team of a
expectation.
couple years ago.
I mean, so much expectations for this team. And yeah, I mean, like you said, Florio. I mean, after a good 2015, Fletch and I had high expectations, and you were the lone uh, one that said, "Oh, Jacksonville's going to be back to reality," and you were right on that. And we had high expectations for them, but now look at them now. They're like, it's back to reality. I mean,
Yep.
and like you said, I mean, it wasn't that long. I mean, it's hard to imagine that it was like months ago. This team was one win away from going to the Super Bowl, and of course, we all know what happened there. The Patriots ended up canceling those plans, and of course, as you just mentioned, that 5-star classic of a divisional playoff matchup against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. So, and you got these two going in different directions. Steelers winning 5 in a row, while the Jaguars, they've lost 5 in a row. So, yeah, the Jacksonville defense, of course, they gotta have to deal with Ben Roethlisberger, especially with what he can do outside the pocket and making big plays with his legs, and not only that, but with also his arms as well. And let's not forget what they did against Carolina, dismantling them 52-21, and Jacksonville losing to the Colts. I mean, goodness gracious. The Jaguars. I mean, they're averaging only 14 points a game, while they're giving up almost 29 points a game. But the Jaguars, they still have the number two overall. They're still number two overall in total defense and number one against the pass. I mean, the Steelers, they'll definitely know. They know this is going to be tough, but the Jaguars, they need this more than Pittsburgh, because if Jacksonville doesn't win on Sunday, it's going to be a hard time. It's going to be a tough road for them to get back to the playoffs. So, and unfortunately, I see this stretch continuing. I got Pittsburgh winning this one. I'm going to say 20-17 is going to be my final score. Um, I expect Antonio Brown and Big Ben to have solid games here. And yeah, I mean, let the hard times continue for Jacksonville. Florio, what's yours? Florio?
Give him a second. It's probably it's probably his net. Just give him a sec.
Yeah, his net's probably giving him a real hard time.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah, you're good, Florio. I hear you.
Bola, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
You're good.
All right. So, the Jaguars have been spoiling rematches and must-see games on their schedule all season, including the Eagles in London and the Colts last week. This is the biggest letdown yet, though. The Steelers should be showing up with bile to spare after the regular season and playoff beatdowns last year. Instead, they'll show up either with Le'Veon Bell and keep the Jaguars in the pits, or without Le'Veon Bell and keep them in the pits. I mean, the Steelers are red hot offensively, and the Jaguars have gone cold defensively. But desperate Jacksonville will dig deep to find some of the success it had against Pittsburgh twice last season. The pass rush and Leonard Fournette will keep the Jags in another game before their once prideful secondary succumbs late to Antonio Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. So I got the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this one. I think it'll be a little closer than people think. I'm going to say 31-26 Pittsburgh over Jacksonville. So, all right, I think we have everything back up and running normally here. So hopefully there'll be no more frozen nonsense. So, all right. I had to, unfortunately, I had to close out one of my note tabs, but but I've got it back up now. So, all right, let's see who's up next now.
Fletch has to talk about it.
All right, yep. Just give me a minute. Very long day indeed for me. So, all right, MF, take it for a spin while I get ready here.
Yeah, that's fine, no problem. Look, I'm gonna agree with you guys, and you guys have been very very legit about everything that you guys have been saying. Look, it's been a bad situation. It was not even that. It's been a rough season for Jacksonville. A lot of people thought that they were going to be a legitimate contender. I think we all felt that way too. But I'm going to say this. What's been their biggest liability is, they've had some injuries. You know, Leonard Fournette went down. Then Blake Bortles realized he's Blake Bortles and hasn't played so great. Jalen Ramsey, who basically was being was one of the most outspoken guys on the defensive side. I hate to say this, Jalen, but you've been nothing but overhyped and overrated in my mind. So I mean, at the end of the day, and then as far as Pittsburgh goes, they just keep moving. They keep trucking. They keep doing what they're doing. Ben's looking great. AB, when he gets the ball, he's dynamic. Juju Smith-Schuster has been a great addition. Tight end wise, they're doing pretty good. Defensively, I'm a little concerned, but not too much. Because they've been playing some good ball lately, and everybody's talking about Le'Veon Bell. The hell with Le'Veon Bell. You don't need him. James Conner is definitely proven to be the better running back than Le'Veon Bell has ever been for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You don't need him anymore. You got the future right there, right before your very eyes. You keep feeding him the rock. He'll keep knocking people out. So Pittsburgh will be fine. And now they're in a great position, because with that Patriot loss last week, now the Steelers are holding the number 2 spot in the AFC. If the season ends today, they get a first round bye. So I think the Steelers are going to win this game. They're going to definitely move on. Nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
All right, let's move on now to our next matchup here. One of our 2 Zonk games of the week. This is the one on the Fox side of things. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers squaring off against the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, in the Meadowlands. On Fox, we got Tom Brenneman, Chris Spielman, Shannon Spake on the call, and the Giants opening up as 1.5-point favorites. Another spread has it as a pick'em. We have the Giants. The Giants lead the all-time series 13-7. Their last meeting was a year ago in Tampa, and Tampa Bay won 25-23. Their last meeting in New York was in 2012. Giants won that one in a wild one, 41-34. I believe that was in week 2 of that season. Tampa Bay has not beaten the Giants in New York since 1997, when they went into the old Giants Stadium and beat up on the Giants 20-8. So that's the last time the Bucs won at the Giants. So, okay, here we go. Ryan Fitzpatrick or Eli Manning? Just when you think you can go back to trusting one of these mid-30s quarterbacks, they let you down. Fitzpatrick was a turnover mess at home last week despite big yardage, while Manning is playing a little better coming off his first 3-touchdown effort of the season. Between Saquon Barkley, Odell Beckham Jr., Sterling Shepard, and Evan Engram, Manning will get more help than Fitzpatrick will get with Peyton Barber, Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson, and O.J. Howard. So the schedule has been a little kind to the Giants suddenly. They followed the Monday night comeback win over the 49ers with a home game against a Buc team that's lost 6 out of 7 after a 2-0 Fitzmagic-led start. If the Giants have indeed figured out a way to protect Eli Manning better, they'll have a chance to put up points, especially on this defense. So, believe it or not, I'm actually going to go with the Giants to make it 2 in a row and start something that's called a winning streak here. So I'm actually going to go with the G-Men. Hard to believe. I will go. I'll go 23-19. 23-19. Giants over the Bucks. MF, how about it?
My buddy Ryan Dantello of the 2184 crew is a big time Bucks fan. He's probably going to kick my butt when he hears this, but I agree. I think the Giants are going to win this game. The way you got to feel about this game, it goes like this. It's a great battle, to say the very least. It's going to be one of those battles that's going to be down to the wire. Look, the Giants actually looked really good last week. They had a great game. Odell Beckham Jr. had a couple of touchdowns. The Shepard touchdown towards the end of the game was a huge touchdown to solidify the victory and give them that big win. And at the end of the day, you just got to try to see what's going to be the end result. And like you said, Ryan Fitzpatrick has had good games. He's had bad games. It just kind of depends what you're going to get. Eli, if he just stays upright, and that's mainly about the offensive line, but if the offensive line can protect Eli like they did last week, they're going to win this game. There's no doubt about it. My final score is 21-17. I got the New York Giants beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the problem is it doesn't matter if it's Ryan Fitzpatrick or Jameis Winston. You don't have a quarterback if you're Tampa Bay. Even the running attack is not really that good. You got decent receivers, an okay defense, but if you're the Giants, you got basically the better running back, a quarterback who all right, not elite. And I know Jerry Rice made some waves today saying that Eli Manning is not Hall of Fame worthy. Regardless of him winning 2 Super Bowls, he says that Eli isn't not Hall of Fame quarterback. I guess I can agree with that for the most part. I know some people are I know a lot of Giants fans are like, what are you, nuts, Jerry Rice? But, that's a debate for another day. But you definitely got the better receivers. You got one of the best wide receivers in the game in Odell Beckham Jr. He proved it last week. So, yeah, they got the better team. The biggest liability is the offensive line, and their defense can be suspect from time to time. But I'll go with the Giants. Plus, they're at home. They got it. No problem. Giants win. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to make it 3 for 3 as well. I mean, I'm going to go with the Giants as well. I mean, they definitely looked good last week against the 49ers. I mean, and like you said, with the Buccaneers, they just don't have a good team. I mean, they don't have a quarterback that they can trust. I mean, the running game's been a disappointment. The defense is okay, but I just don't see how I can trust them. I mean, and I think they're going to have a tough time defending Odell Beckham Jr. and all those other receivers like Shepard. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to go 21-17. Giants beat the Buccaneers, make it 2 in a row for the G-Men. Florio, let's move on.
Not again. Okay. All right, here we go. Now we're going to get into a game that nowhere became the number 2 game of the week on our side of the ledger, if you can believe it. The Houston Texans squaring off against the Washington Redskins at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. CBS will have it. Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Bruce Arians, Melanie Collins on the call. Houston opening up as 3-point favorites. And the series history between these two is tied 2-2. The Redskins won the first 2 meetings. The Texans have won the last 2 meetings. Their last meeting overall was 2014. Houston won 17-6 in Houston. Their last meeting in Washington, 2010. Houston winning that one 30-27 in overtime. Wild and crazy game. And Washington has the only other game in Washington. That was their very first meeting in 2002. The Redskins won 26-10. So, all right, MF. All of a sudden, if you could, I mean, going into the season, who would have thought this would end up being the number 2 game on our ledger, our side of it?
Well, the thing is that I think we expected Houston to be pretty good. And we knew that they had what it takes to be a legitimate contender. We didn't think Washington was. And I think that's the biggest thing. We knew Houston was going to be here. They were going to be in the mix. We knew they were going to be here at the end. But Washington was the biggest surprise because what was the team that we were always talking about? Philly, because they were the defending champions. We thought they were going to pick up right where they left off and try to dominate the NFC East. Of course, you also got Dallas. We got into them earlier, and we thought maybe they could make some noise. Washington, we were thinking maybe third, fourth. Nah. Washington is the top dog right now in the NFC East, and they're right now looking like the team that could be coming out and being that elite squad. I mean, they've looked really good, 6-3 to 6-3. This is a must see game, no doubt about it. And the thing is, the reason why, one, Alex Smith. He is being that game manager that Washington has always been. He hasn't lost a step in Kansas City. He's looked like a great QB, playing a great game, and he's not making that many mistakes. He's throwing the ball, the short intermediate passes, but who gives a damn? He checks down when he needs to, and when he does, sometimes when those guys get open, they get a big chunk of yards. Once in a rare while, he'll go for the bomb, but he doesn't really need to do it. And then the other factor, Adrian Peterson. He's 33 and he looks like he's 23 right now. He's probably in the best condition than he's ever been in his career. They've looked so good. They're playing at home. This is going to be a tough game because Houston is red hot lately. They're looking really good. They're going to be a legitimate threat, but I can't go against the Redskins at home. I made that mistake once. I went with Dallas against the Redskins, and they burned me. And I told myself, whatever happens, if Washington's at home, you kind of have to give them the edge because they play really good when they're at FedEx. I'm going to go with the Redskins. This is a tough game, guys. This is not an easy game to call. My final score is 28-24. The Washington Redskins beat the Houston Texans in what could be a 4 to 4.5 star game. I don't think it's going to be 5, but this is going to be a very entertaining matchup. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody expected this to be the number 2 game of the week. I mean, we knew Houston was going to be good, but we didn't quite expect the same for this Washington Redskins team. And yeah, Alex Smith, continues to be that same guy that he was in Kansas City, and Adrian Peterson has discovered the fountain of youth, and he's looking like that running back that we saw in the days at Minnesota. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a tough one. So if this game was in Houston, I definitely would go with the Houston Texans, but something about the Redskins at home and the way they've been playing lately, I'm actually going to go with the Washington Redskins as well. I'm actually going to go 30-24. Washington beats Washington beats Houston. So Florio, it is yours.
The two head-scratchingest division leaders so far face each other at FedEx Field. where the fans have every reason not to buy in yet, no matter what their thin-skinned players say. Division titles by default still count in both cases. The Texans have won 6 straight, are coming off a bye, and needed the rest for Deshaun Watson and the rest of the beaten-up players. But Washington, a repeat of the 4-turnover defensive performance in Tampa, would be welcome because they might not be able to count on their offense. The Texans and Redskins both have surprising 2-game leads in the NFL's 2 weakest divisions. This sets up to be an ugly game full of sacks and little traditional rushing success, given the state of both offensive lines and the strength of both defensive fronts. Washington has a knack for winning ugly games, especially at home, by simply protecting the ball. However, I got to respectfully disagree with you guys. I got to go with Houston. I mean, they've won 6 straight. They have big time impressed me. They've made a believer out of me. And I can't go against them now, even though it's in Washington. So I'm going to, like they always would say on the old Family Feud, I'm going to go out on my own here. And I'm going to say the Houston Texans actually knock off the Washington Redskins 23-17. And if I'm wrong, hey, I'm wrong. But I'm willing to take this gamble. I mean, I believe in Houston. So that's all I can say on that. So now let's go into the late games, gentlemen. And we'll start it off with the other Zonk game of the week. This time the Zonk game of the week on our side of the ledger. I hate that we got a Zonk game, but we got to get into it. The Oakland Raiders squaring off against the Arizona Cardinals at University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. 4:05 over on CBS with Spiro Dedes and Anna Marcelletta. And Arizona opening up as 5 to 5.5 point favorites. The Raiders, though, lead the all-time series 5-4. Arizona has won the last 2 meetings in this series. The last meeting was in 2014 in Oakland. Cardinals won that one 24-13. And their last meeting in Arizona was 2010. It was the Cardinals also winning that one 24-23. Raiders' last win in Arizona was in 2002. That was a 41-20 beatdown for the Raiders at the old Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe. So I believe it's Bullock who starts this one off. So the Bullock, who do you got in this Zonk game of the week on our side of the ledger?
I'm not going to waste my time on this. This, to me, is the Zonk game of the week. Arizona Cardinals to win this one. My final score is going to be 17-14. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. The Raiders look like they've given up offensively as Doug Martin and Jared Cook are the only things going while Derek Carr feels almost non-existent. The Cardinals have rediscovered their juice as Byron Leftwich continues to deploy David Johnson correctly. Arizona's defense has been playing well as of late and will make sure the Raiders dry up in the desert before they get used to playing there in Las Vegas. So, yeah, this matchup is so bad, it's a wonder it isn't on national television. Derek Carr threw the ball away on 4th down last week, and a gushing pre-draft evaluation of Nathan Peterman by John Gruden was uncovered soon after. As for the Cardinals, David Johnson is getting involved the way he should have been earlier this season. Larry Fitzgerald is solidifying his Canton resume, and the results remain the same. Arizona wins 27-13. Nothing more to say. MF, who do you have in this Zonk game of the week? MF, are you there?
Fletch, you there?
I don't know if he forgot to unmute his mic or what the story is, but all right. All right, I guess we're just gonna have to we'll just have to move on, and we'll catch MF up if we have to. So all right, so let's move on to our other 4:05 game. We got the Denver Broncos squaring off against the Los Angeles Chargers. That's at the StubHub Center in Carson City. Iron Eagle, Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn opening up as 7 to 7.5 point favorites. I don't recall if these two teams met in Denver yet this season. Hang on a minute. No, they haven't. So this is the first meeting. Okay. So I just wanted to be sure on that. So okay, let's see. So the series history favors the, let me see. It favors the Broncos, 64-51 with a tie. Both teams split last year. Both teams won at home. So the Chargers won in LA 21-0 last year. And the last time Denver won at the Chargers was in 2015 when Denver won at San Diego 17-3. So let's get into this one. And I believe I start this one off. So, all right. The Broncos are coming off their bye, trying to save Vance Joseph's job by finishing strong, especially offensively with their running game. The Chargers, however, have dumped on weak opponents all season as Phillip Rivers and Melvin Gordon have faced little defensive resistance. Case Keenum will once again make key mistakes against an opportunistic pass defense. And more proof that it's now how you start, it's how you finish. Like the Bucs, the Broncos started 2-0 and have lost 6 of 7 since. Just as the Chargers are lurking just off the radar overall, Phillip Rivers is building a stealth MVP case. The Broncos are among the league leaders in finding creative ways to lose, which has only planted Vance Joseph more firmly on the hot seat. So there's nothing more to say on this. I got the I think this will be a close game because, you know, these two teams usually play close usually. So, but I am going to go with the Chargers to keep their winning ways going. 28-23. Give me the Chargers over Denver. Okay, I guess MF had a little bit of a difficulty there. So hopefully MF's back in now. And if he is, all right, there he is. MF, your thoughts on Oakland and Arizona, as well as Denver and the Chargers?
Well, I'm not going to waste my time with Oakland, Arizona. Arizona wins. I got nothing more on that one. As far as Chargers and Broncos go, I'm going to go with the Chargers, man. The Chargers are one of those teams right now that is definitely a major threat. They are playing absolutely unbelievable football lately. Melvin Gordon's looking great. Phillip Rivers is doing his thing. The defense is really getting after the quarterback lately. I just gotta say it, I got a really good feeling about the Chargers this season. They're playing some great football lately, so I'm gonna go with the Chargers to beat the Broncos, especially playing in Carson, California. So there's really nothing more for me to say. I got the Chargers, and that's it. Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, what can you basically say about the Chargers? I mean, they continue to impress us. I mean, we knew that there was going to be expectations for this Chargers team, and they really exceeded it. I mean, 7-2 going into this week, facing a Broncos team that's pretty much been reeling as of late. I mean, yeah. And the thing about the Chargers, I mean, the thing that impresses me about them is how it navigated through a brutal 5-week schedule that featured road games in Cleveland, Seattle, and Oakland, and a quote-unquote home matchup in London sandwiched around its bye. So, yeah, of course, they're going up against the Broncos team who's lost 2 in a row and 6 of 7 overall. Certainly, I mean, they can appreciate how noteworthy the current run is by the Chargers. And the Broncos, they're seeking their first road win against an AFC West rival since knocking off the Chargers back in 2015 when they were then known as the San Diego Chargers. And for Los Angeles, I mean, they've won 13 of its last 16, dating to back to last season. So, and yeah, I mean, of course, they're definitely led by Philip Rivers, and they could, and of course, they could get a boost if with the possibility of Joey Bosa definitely coming back. So, I got the Chargers winning this one. I'm going to say 31-17 is going to be my final score. So, Florio, it is yours.
And we move on to America's Game of the Week on Fox. 4:25 kickoff. Your reigning and defending undisputed Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles squaring off against the New Orleans Saints at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans on Fox. You're listening to them right now as they call Green Bay and Seattle as we speak. And they're so nice. We get to see and hear them twice. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, along with Aaron Andrews. No Christina Pink for this one, but nonetheless, Joe, Troy, and Aaron will be there for the Eagles and the Saints in the Superdome. New Orleans opening up as 9 to 9.5 point favorites. Philadelphia leads the all-time series 16-11. Their last meeting was 2015 in Philadelphia. Eagles won that one going away 39-17. Their last meeting in New Orleans was 2012. New Orleans won that one 28-13. Philly's last win in New Orleans was back in 2007. That was a 38-23 final. So I don't have a actually I believe it's MF who starts this one off. Is that correct? So all right.
Yep.
Yeah, because Bullock wrapped up the last one. That's right. So all right, MF. Philly and New Orleans. Fox is America's Game of the Week. Your thoughts about this one? This should be another shootout in the dome.
This is actually, I would think, just because of the excitement, the battle, the war that these two teams would have, and just the general makeup. This is going to be a monster game. We thought New Orleans and the Rams was insane. This is going to be just as fun. Carson Wentz definitely playing decent enough. They're playing pretty good. The running game's a little bit suspect, no doubt about it. But this is going to be a tough battle because you're talking about a really good defense versus a really good offense, and you just got to wait and see how this is going to play out. So there's really nothing more to say about it here. This is going to be a fun game, a fun battle down the wire. But I got New Orleans winning this one, and this could be a high-scoring affair. I'm not gonna say it's probably gonna be something like a 45-41 affair, but I got New Orleans winning this game. They're gonna light it up. Defense come to die when they get into the dome. More than not, and don't expect that many punts like we saw in the Rams versus in the Rams versus Saints game either. Me and Michael Bullock were at Buffalo Wild Wings watching that game. So nothing more to say. I definitely believe that the Saints will win it. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles, I mean, this is a big game for them. They have a chance to basically get back to 500, and hopefully this is the beginning of something for them. And like you said, Carson Wentz has been playing good. The running game is definitely, like you said, it's suspect. The defense, not too impressive. But the thing is, they got to be going up against a red-hot New Orleans Saints team. I mean, the Saints, they're certainly making a statement in that NFC South, and I do expect the offense to basically continue to be on a roll. And some people are actually saying that that Drew Brees should be in the MVP conversation. You could definitely make a case for it, but and of course that no problem with the Saints running game with that combination of Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. And of course, the receiving core led by Michael Thomas. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Brandon Marshall being in the mix. So I got the Saints winning this one as well. I'm going to say 38-31. The Saints beat the Eagles. So, Florian, I give it to you.
Yeah. Philly. Oh man. I mean, what is going? I mean, we talked about what's going on with Jacksonville. What's going on with Philadelphia? I mean, man. But I'm sure you guys have heard of a wonderful publication called The Sporting News, and as of right now, they have the New Orleans Saints. They have the New Orleans Saints as their pick to win Super Bowl 53. They say their pick to win Super Bowl 53 is looking great to take care of business against the reeling Super Bowl 52 champions. The Eagles' secondary is a mess, and last week their once reliable run defense was shredded by Ezekiel Elliott. Both of those developments are a nightmare ahead of a game against Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, and Mark Ingram. On the other side, the Saints can stop the run, contain Zach Ertz, and get after Carson Wentz, as Philadelphia lacks the speedy, deep threat needed to burn New Orleans' secondary. I mean, it's getting late for the Eagles. That loss to the Cowboys brought the Philly back out in Philly fans. If they can incorporate Golden Tate better this week and the rest of the season, it can still be saved. The Saints could still hit a wall before season's end, but the odds of it happening at home and against a team that's struggling to make things click the way they did last year are slim. 38-24, New Orleans over Philadelphia. Nothing more to say. Let's move on. And wow. If you can believe this next one, I mean, who would have thunk this would be at the start when the schedule came out, this started out as a typical Sunday afternoon 1:00 game, but now it just became Sunday Night Football on NBC. God bless flex scheduling. And a surprising matchup, to say the least. The Minnesota Vikings squaring off against the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field in Chicago. It's Sunday Night Football on NBC. You already know who's working this one. You don't need a dirt sheet. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, and the Bears opening up as 2.5 to 3-point favorites. This is their first meeting of the season. The other one will come at the end. Minnesota leads the all-time series 60-51 with 2 ties. Minnesota has won the last 3 meetings in this series. Of course, Minnesota swept both meetings last year, including a 20-17 win in Chicago last year. Chicago's last home win against Minnesota was 2016. So I believe it's Bullock who starts it off. And Michael Bullock, I mean, who would have thought that this Minnesota-Chicago game would go from being a so-so Sunday afternoon game now to Sunday Night Football with major NFC North Division implications. First place on the line here.
Oh, yes. I mean, if you were to ask me that this would be a Sunday Night Football game, I would have said no way. But you take a look at what these teams have done. I mean, especially the Chicago Bears. I mean, that defense has definitely has looked really good. Of course, led by their acquisition of Khalil Mack and what can you say with also, of course, gangstering up on the offensive side with Allen Robinson and Taylor Gabriel. Yeah, and the thing is, Mitchell Trubisky continues to improve as a young starter and has made some big plays, not just with his arm but with his legs too. And that's something that Vikings defense is going to have to deal with. And of course, that Vikings offense, they're going to have to deal with that Bears defense. So that being said, I'm going with the Chicago Bears to win this one. I'm going to say my final score is the Bears 24 and the Vikings 20. So nothing more to say. I mean, I think that this team's definitely going to go to 7-3. And who would have thunk that going into the season? I certainly didn't. Flory, what's yours?
I think the only one who believed was our good friend Matt Ward, because we all know how he is. But anyways, gentlemen, and MF, this one's for you. A good old-fashioned rock'em sock'em black and blue division slugfest, featuring a pair of quarterbacks in Kirk Cousins and Mitchell Trubisky, who are airing it out most weeks without many other options. The winner claims the lead in the NFC North with 6 weeks to play. The wild card is the Viking defense, which got Everson Griffin back, and before their bye, got 10 sacks and gave up only 209 yards to the Detroit Lions. The Bears are good at beating up bad teams, especially in the friendly confines of Soldier Field, but they can be too pass-reliant with Mitchell Trubisky at times, even when it's not working. They won't be able to run well on Minnesota, and the Vikings' pass rush and corners will make it rough on Trubisky. The Vikings can do more out of the backfield with a healthy Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray, and both Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen will be a handful for Chicago's secondary. To me, this is the toughest game of the week to call right here. It really is. But at the end, I'm sorry, Bullock, I got to disagree. I got to go with Minnesota here. I'm going to take a chance and go with Minnesota, 24-20. Would I be surprised if the Bears won? Absolutely not. But I just got a feeling I just got this feeling about Minnesota. I mean, that's all I can say on that. And before we give it to MF, it is gone final. Thursday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks defeat the Green Bay Packers 27-24. The first entertaining Thursday Night Football game we've had in a long time. It's because we've had several weeks of duds and blowouts and snoozers. But this one, for the first time in a long time, for once, was actually fun and entertaining. Good job, guys. Well done. So Seattle wins it 27-24. So MF, Minnesota and Chicago, you're the tiebreaker. Who do you go with? Do you go with me in Minnesota or Bullock in Chicago?
No, I got to go Chicago. I disagree with you, Anthony. I got to go with the Bears. And the thing is that you're with Tariq Coleman, with Mitchell Trubisky, with Trey Burton, and some of those boys that they've been playing really good. But you're forgetting the X factor, Khalil Mack. His defensive awareness and what he brings to the table is gonna be. Without a doubt, that's gonna be the X factor of this game. Anytime he plays, he's an X factor. Yes, Minnesota's defense have gotten better. They're gonna get a lot more better. They got some players back from injuries that they didn't have earlier in the year. So this is gonna be, like you said, a knockdown, drag out brawl. But I'm gonna say it. I think Chicago wins because whenever. It's one of those tight games that it's gonna be a black and blue, but they're gonna but you're gonna get some scoring out of this one. My final score is 20-17. Chicago Bears. They're gonna bear down and they will take down the Minnesota Vikings. Anthony, there's nothing more to say. It's the game of the century. Monday night in the Coliseum. Not Mexico City. Go ahead, it's yours.
You ready for the main event? Oh, the Tony and Mikey special right here. No doubt about it. We could have done the rain game last week, but I honestly didn't want to have a back-to-back looming on us. So that's why we decided to go for New England and Tennessee. Yeah, look how that turned out. But I don't think we have to worry about that here because we got perhaps our game of the year right here. Possible Super Bowl preview right here, folks. The Kansas City Chiefs squaring off against the Los Angeles Rams. Originally, this was scheduled to be at the Estadio de Azteca in Mexico City, but because of poor playing conditions with the field and all this nonsense, The game has been moved to the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles. It's Monday Night Football on ESPN. Joe Tessitore, Jason Witten, Booger McFarland, Lisa Salters. The Rams opening up as 3 to 3.5 point favorites. Kansas City leads the all-time series 7-4. The Chiefs have won the last 6 meetings in a row between these two teams. They last met in 2014 in Kansas City. Chiefs won that one going away 34-7 4 years ago. And this will be the first time they've played in Los Angeles since 1991. And the Kansas City Chiefs also won that game 27-20. The only time the LA Rams have beaten the Chiefs in the Coliseum at home, they've only done it once. And it was all the way back in 1982. That was a 20-14 win. But it's been all Chiefs ever since 1997. I mean, the Rams last beat the Chiefs overall in 94. That was a 16-0 final, but that was at Arrowhead. 97, Chiefs won 28-20 in St. Louis. 2000, Chiefs won a wild one, 54-34 at Arrowhead. 2002, Chiefs won 49-10 in Kansas City. 2006, Chiefs won 31-17 in St. Louis. 2010, Chiefs won 27-13 in St. Louis. And then the Chiefs won at Arrowhead in 2014, 34-7. So 6 consecutive wins in this series for the Chiefs to give them the 7-4 advantage in this series. So buckle your seatbelts, folks. Here we go. The Chiefs are hoping to get former Rams Sammy Watkins back to help Patrick Mahomes, while Jared Goff knows he will be without Cooper Kupp for the rest of the season. Kareem Hunt and Todd Gurley will have an epic battle creating a backfield wash. So it's up to which quarterback can use his mobility to make more big plays downfield. Mahomes is the better strong-armed athlete and has more big play targets, led by the tireless Tyreek Hill, a huge asset in high altitude and on a questionable field. This is what everyone's been waiting for since late September when they both looked unbeatable. They've both lost a game, but the Chiefs still look more unbeatable with an offense that keeps overcoming their defense's obvious shortcomings. Yes, the Rams defense has shown its flaws in recent weeks as well. It comes down to which defense can be trusted more for the whole game or for any given make or break play. We've gone on the record on this. I know there's going to be a tie here between me and MF. Michael Bullock, as MF and I, prepare our fans for this matchup that we're going to be so delighted to be a part of here. I've gone on the record on this show many of times saying that I think that the LA Rams are the most complete team and the best team out there, even though the New Orleans Saints have surpassed them. But MF and I have been, we've gone back and forth debating on which team we think is better. And I still think it's the Rams. No disrespect to the Chiefs. I mean, they are hella fun to watch. And I'm rooting for them to do something. But I think this LA Ram team is just the better team in my book, just by a smidge here. I mean, yes, they've lost Cooper Kupp. That's a big loss for them, but they're still loaded. And I think their defense is going to make that one big make or break play. So, where I'm going with this one, and I'm not backing down. So, of course, you know me, I'm going to go with the LA Rams to win this one. It's going to be a 5-star classic, Shakespearean drama at its absolute finest. This is going to be an offensive shootout in the Coliseum. I got the Rams, of course. 38-34, the Los Angeles Rams over the Kansas City Chiefs. I have to go into my inner Jesse the Body Ventura here. This is what the words main event were meant for, because this is the main event. But this week, it don't get no bigger. So there's nothing left for me to say here. I got to bring in my Phil Simms here. The man who does the Phil Simms to my Jim Nance better than anybody. Goodall MF, Michael Fletcher. You know what I always had to say. Do that thing I like. So hit me with that analyst as only you can. As I say, hello, friends.
Well, there's really nothing more to say. This is the biggest game of the season. For the Kansas City Chiefs, it's basically what you said. Patrick Mahomes, You also got Kareem Hunt. You also got Tyreek Evans. You got Travis Kelce. They're gonna be absolutely unbelievable defensively. They gotten better. They are a lot more stronger than they were. I kind of disagree with you, Anthony, because I think the Cooper Cup problem is going to be an issue. Not only that, the last couple of weeks, the defense has been gassed when it comes to the Rams. Front four, front seven, definitely great. Secondary, liability. That's where the problem is going to lie in this game, because especially, Mahomes is going to bomb one deep. He's got a home run hitter in Tyreek Hill, and if he finds him on one-on-one coverage, man, I don't like it. I don't like that battle. I think there's going to be problems. So obviously it's going to be a high-scoring affair. It's going to be an unbelievable game. But I truly believe that going into the game, I kind of feel like if the game was going to be in Estadio Azteca, I really felt like because of the high altitude and everything else, the advantage was going to go to the LA Rams because of the fact that it's going to be in LA. And they actually are giving Chiefs fans the opportunity to be in the stadium. I think it's going to be one of those where it could end up being a wash. Even crowd-wise, it could be a wash because they're not restricting Chiefs fans from getting into the stadium. There's going to be Chiefs fans in there to compensate for the fans who was probably going to be at Estadio Azteca and now they couldn't make that game. So they're going to give the Chiefs fans an opportunity. They're going to give them their own section of the stadium. Probably not much, but still. So at the end of the day, I'm sorry. I kind of feel like this is a great opportunity for Kansas City, and I think they're in a better position to play in a game. I truly feel like they are definitely the road warriors here. They got the better team. I'm sorry. Anthony says that the Rams are the most complete team. I disagree. Kansas City is the most complete team. They got a better defense than the Rams right now. And if you don't think that's the case, look at the last 2 games that the Rams have had. They've given up 45 to the Saints, and I think they gave up like almost 30 something last week and barely escaped with the victory. So I'm sorry. I got Kansas City all the way on this one. High scoring affair. I agree with that. 45-41. Kansas City beats the Rams in the Coliseum. Michael Bullock, you got the unenviable task, man. Who do you agree with? Anthony and the Rams or me with the Chiefs? Bullock?
You with us?
All right, here.
There he is.
All right, over here. Oh, give me just a minute here. Yeah, I really can't wait for this one. I mean, this is gonna be I think this got the potential to be a 5-star match. I mean, Jared Goff hopes to get some of his weapons back, especially Sammy Watkins, but I gotta go with the LA Rams to win this one, 30-34. So nothing more to say. It's on to the power rankings.
And MF gets to start it off since I led off on the main event. So, all right, MF, who comes in at number 10 in the good old MF power rankings?
Well, just give me one moment so I can get my stat sheet up. So I'm not going to say I wasn't completely prepared, but I think we all can agree. The top, like right at the very top, it's a no doubt. Like I know where I'm going with the top. Once we get to the bottom, this is where it gets a little tricky, to say the very least. But at the end of the day, we know who number 1 is. We know who number 2 is. We know who number 3 is. At least in my mind, I know who the top teams are. So we are going to start at number 10. And let's see, who do I want to put with? Well, I can't put the Seahawks because at the time they would be 4 and 5. That's outside of our ranking level, so they can't get in. They probably will be in next week with that big win over Green Bay. Green Bay, same suit. Well, 4-4-1. Would that be enough to get them in, Anthony? Just want a ruling on this before I jump on the on.
I mean, they beat your Dolphins, MF. I mean,
So I
they
get.
made it look easy, but
So I get.
if it was a more impressive team, I think I would have given Green Bay the benefit of the doubt. But
yeah. So
but then again, and then don't forget they also lost tonight, so that pretty much factors that in. So,
but don't we not count that though? Doesn't that get retroactive?
Yes, they are eligible. They are eligible. They are eligible.
But probably not enough to get. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, because of the body of work of some certain other teams, and
absolutely, no doubt. So
especially my debut at number 10. So
okay. Well, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to put the Titans there because the Titans deserve to be a lot more higher.
absolutely.
I mean, what they just did to the Patriots. I mean, hello. It's not going to be the Chargers or the Chiefs because both of them are in my top 5. As a matter of fact, you could even make an argument top 3 worthiness. Steelers, they're right there. They're at the top. That's a top 5 team. Washington, top 5. Maybe Minnesota at 10. I'm kind of leaning there.
Well, I'll say it like this. I know one team that is most definitely a dud, and that is the New England Patriots. They are out.
Oh, absolutely.
They're gone.
An honorable mention to the Buffalo Bills because look, yeah, they're 3-7, but god dang, they put a whooping on the Jets.
Matt Barkley.
Who saw that coming?
Matt Barkley. Wow.
Who saw that coming?
I certainly didn't.
Nope. So, give it up for Buffalo. 1 week, you get the love from us. That's it. God, this is tough. The bottom is the top. The bottom's not good. I don't know where to go.
Well,
I hate to do this to you, Floyo, but I'm gonna have to call for help. Yeah, go.
Yeah. The only reason why I would have Tennessee at 10 is the record. I mean, they're only 5-4, but they did put a whooping on the New England Patriots, and because of that, they definitely deserve to be there. So, New England is out. I'll say it like this: my top 4 are absolute no-brainers.
Oh, obviously,
top 4.
Yeah,
I'm very happy with who I have in my top 4. I moved certain teams up by 1 spot because of New England being out. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So I'm actually gonna do I will say this though. I have 2 dud teams this week. One of them, of course, the biggest dud is the New England Patriots. I had them at number 2 in my rankings last week, all the way to out. Go figure that. And my other dud is the Cincinnati Bengals, especially after what happened to them against New Orleans. So both of them are out. So this is the only tie I have in my rankings. I know Tennessee deserves to be higher, but it's the record that that prohibits me from doing so. So number 10s for me, I got the Washington Redskins and the Actually, hold on. Actually, I have another. I have another dud team in here, and that's the Carolina Panthers. Carolina. What happened to them last Thursday night against Pittsburgh? I mean, see ya bye. So they're out. So with that being said, I'm actually gonna do a flip flop here. I'm gonna put the Washington Redskins in at number 10. I think Tennessee deserves the benefit of the doubt, absolutely. So I'm gonna go with Washington. I'll go with Washington, 6-3 in first place in the division, but they still have a lot of issues. So they were lucky to win that game against Tampa Bay. I mean, Tampa Bay put up over 500 yards of offense and only managed 3 points, and how Washington won that game is beyond me. So I have to put Washington at number 10. Tennessee deserves to be higher. Wouldn't you agree with that, MF?
Well, I guess I could see the Washington theory here, and I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and I'll say yes. So I guess we can make that argument there. That's definitely worthy enough, and I'll meet you there and say, all right, I'll give you the Washington Redskins at number 10. So Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
I'm sure Bullock's probably going to agree with us.
Yeah,
because he usually does anyway. So
yeah. So number 9, I guess I'll give it to the Tennessee Titans. I was also looking at the Chicago Bears for number 9, but I'm probably gonna get a disagreement on that front. So I'm gonna go with yeah. This is where I'm gonna go and say Tennessee gets number 9. No arguments from here on out. So Florio, go.
I agree. It's Tennessee at 9. Mike Vrabel, what can you say about him? He's doing a nice job with this team. And how big now is their game this week at Indy? What's there to say on that? So Tennessee definitely deserves to be number 9 in these rankings here. And as I plug them into my spreadsheet here, so I can, have everything set up. So yeah, okay. Let me back that one up. I'm gonna put this one here, and okay. So all right. So okay, I think I feel good about this. So but yeah, I definitely feel good about this one. So I think I got this one. I think I got this. I think I pretty much got this nailed down. So this should be it. So let's see. Houston. Okay. All right. So here we go. Got them all plugged in. I'm definitely happy with these choices. If I'm wrong on some of these, I'm wrong. I don't care. So we said Tennessee was 9, so we go to 8. It's the I got to go with the Texans here. Only because of the bye week rule here. They come off their bye with a tough road game against the Redskins. Question is, are they ready to make a real playoff push? I think the answer is yes. Houston Texans at 8. MF, are they ready to make a real playoff push?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, winners of 6 in a row going into that game. The only reason why they're down here is because of that bye rule. If it wasn't for that rule, they would have been like top 5 in my mind. But the bye came in, so unfortunately, you're stuck where you're at. And as a matter of fact, my number 7 is that very same team they're playing, the Washington Redskins. I have a feeling that this is going to be a good matchup. Definitely power ranking implications.
Oh yeah, I thought we had the Redskins at. I thought we had the Redskins at 10. I thought we agreed on Washington at 10.
Did we?
I could have sworn you agree with me on that.
All right, hold up. That's not right. All right, so I guess I could put. Let me see. Well, the only other alternative I could think of is the Vikings. Drop them here. Drop them at 10. I mean, this is what I'll do. This is what I'll do. Vikings go 10. Obviously disagreement, but I don't give a. 9 will be Tennessee. 8 is Houston. 7 Washington, and that's where I'll stick it there. So Washington's my number 7, and Florio, you can go.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a disagreement. Washington has a lot of issues. Yes, they are 6-3 in first place in the division, but they still have a lot of issues. So this will be a disagreement. This is where I have the Chicago Bears at number 7. Mitch Trubisky and the offense are improving each week. They faced a stiff challenge against that Minnesota defense Sunday night. So that's all there is to say on that. So going to number 6, this is actually where I have the Minnesota Vikings. They come off their bye with a monster game against the Chicago Bears. First place is at stake. So I know this will be another disagreement, but MF, who do you have at number 6?
Chicago. You
Okay.
actually talked about the team that I had. No, this was where I had Chicago. Obviously disagreement on it. I got more faith in the Bears than I do with the Minnesota Vikings. Straight up. I've seen the Bears play. They've played unbelievable. I just don't got much faith in the Vikings when they play outside of Minnesota. Even though they got a 3-1 record, Minnesota. They are 2-1-1 on the road, 3-2 at home. You're going up against a Chicago Bears team that's 4-1. The only loss was against the New England Patriots. So I'm sorry, I don't see it. And honestly, with everything that's riding on the line, if the Bears wins this game, they literally got a stranglehold of the NFC North. I don't think they're going to let that opportunity get away. They definitely are definitely looking like a legit team. I like I said, I got my doubts about the Minnesota Vikings. So that's just my little gripe about it. I'm not going to go much more than that. Yeah, so let's go. So now we sneak into the top 5. I got to start off with, now this is where it gets interesting because it's either the Chargers or the Steelers. Those were the top 2 that are in my mind. And I guess I'm going to go with the Chargers here. And it's because they barely escaped with the victory. Pittsburgh played absolutely out of their mind. They dominated their game. I don't think the Chargers was that fortunate. I don't think they were that good in their last game. I just need to check something quick. And it's against the Raiders. Oh, forget it. Yeah. Chargers, you got to show me something. That's all I'm going to say about it. Florio, go.
Yeah. Chargers come in at number 5. I mean, you made a great point with what happened there. I mean, barely getting by the Raiders. I mean, they're better than that. I mean, they should have had their way with them, but they didn't. But at least they won, though. That's all that counts. So, what were my thoughts on that? But they are quietly having an impressive season, pushing the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC West. wait until they get Joey Bosa back. That's all there is to say there. So it is the Chargers. So moving on to number 4, I think MF made it crystal clear. He said it was between the Chargers and the Steelers. We went with the Chargers, so it's obviously got to be the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 4. The explosive offense is back, and the defense is getting better each week. Here come the Steelers. MF, I mean, this is vintage Pittsburgh. I mean, they stumbled out of the gates, but they're catching fire. And when they catch fire, they become instantly a contender.
They are almost impossible to stop once they get into that type of run. So yeah, absolutely. It's been a very unbelievable run, and they're playing out of their minds lately, and we're gonna wait and see. So my number 3, I know I'm gonna offend a few people here, but I don't care. I gotta go with the LA Rams. And the reason why is, look, they barely escaped over the Seattle Seahawks. Barely escaped 36-31. Look, they're impressive enough. They're one of the top 3 teams. They are a legitimate contender. One of the favorites to go to the Super Bowl. We all know that. This is the game that's going to make or break the LA Rams, in my mind. You beat the Kansas City Chiefs, then there's no doubt. You are validity. You are a legit threat. There's no questions asked. You're going to be one of those teams that we're going to believe is going to be at the end. You lose to the Chiefs. Now you open the door for teams like New Orleans. New Orleans benefits more than any other team, because then New Orleans becomes the top dog in the NFC. No questions asked. So we're gonna wait and see what happens. This is gonna be a big game, huge game on Monday night. So number 3 is the LA Rams. So Anthony, go.
Yep, you got it, man. LA Rams at number 3. MF nailed it. The defense still has issues, but they continue to roll up a lot of points. They will certainly need to do that against the Kansas City Chiefs this week. Speaking of the aforementioned Kansas City Chiefs, they come in at number 2. The defense is making strides, which it has to do, and that is going to be key down the stretch. So there's really nothing more to say here. KC, I got the Rams at 3, and I got KC at number 2. Did I get that right, MF?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Kansas City is number 2. I mean, look, and openly to question Kansas City is this. They beat the Arizona Cardinals, and it wasn't really that convincing. I mean, 26-14, it wasn't a dominating performance. This is one of those times where the defense did show up. They played a great game. Offensively, they kind of lacked a little bit. It was a little shocking. Normally, you would think that Kansas City would easily put at least 35, 40 something points, and they didn't do it in this game. They jumped out early. They had like a 20-7 lead at halftime. And you're thinking, oh, they're gonna just run right over Arizona. Then they let Arizona kind of creep around a little bit. So it kind of was like one of those, like, what the hell are you guys doing? So no doubt about it, number 2 is Kansas City, which means the number 1 team in our rankings. I don't know if this is a first time, but it's first time for me, but probably not for Anthony. New Orleans Saints are the top dogs. They got the number 1 spot. And, what we can say is, look, they're stemming off of the huge victory. They're stemming off the huge win over Cincinnati, convincing fashion. I mean, 51-14, coming right off the heels of the I guess you could call it the game of the century part 1, which was the Rams and the Saints in New Orleans, that they dominated and won that game pretty handily. So I mean, it was unbelievable. Great performance by New Orleans, and they just keep on trucking. If their defense keeps holding up the way they are, and they keep playing the way that they're playing, I'm gonna say it, guys. They might be the best team in the NFL offensively. Their offensive numbers. I mean, they are the highest scoring team in all of the NFL at almost 37 points per game, and they're putting up on an average of almost 414 yards. I mean, you can't do anything with that. Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara is the 1-2 punch over there. Michael Thomas is a premier wide receiver, and they have been playing out of their minds, guys. And up to this point, they're just playing great football. They definitely got the Houday Saints back, and they're looking better and stronger than ever before. And right now, they look like they could be the team to beat, man. And I'm going to tell you one thing. The scary thing is if they become the number 1 seed and all roads to the NFC playoffs runs through New Orleans, I think they're making a Super Bowl, Anthony. I think they're going to go back to the Super Bowl for the first time since Super Bowl 44, which oddly enough, they ended up winning the whole damn thing when they did. So who knows? They're there. We'll have to wait and see. Number 1, New Orleans Saints.
They are the best team in the league right now and showed it against the Cincinnati Bengals. The improving defense makes them the Super Bowl favorite right now. So you nailed it. New Orleans Saints, number 1. And that's exactly how I had it last week as well. So you're absolutely right, MF. So that's it. This special Thursday edition of NFL Friday is over for this week. We're not going to do the shout-outs this week. We'll save them for next week when we go back to our traditional Friday time. So here we go. 10:30 tomorrow night. I'm hoping you guys will be here. MF Bullock, and of course Didi Woodson, are one of our biggest wrestling forum shows of the year. We're going to be previewing both NXT TakeOver War Games and the 32nd annual Survivor Series. Raw versus SmackDown one more time. Let's see what happens this time. A lot of developments throughout the week. And I have an update on one of those developments as to why it happened this week. I'll share that inside information tomorrow night. And then that's tomorrow night right here. Our preview of NXT TakeOver War Games and Survivor Series right here. Myself, MF, Michael Bullock, Didi Woodson. Of course, Sunday night, immediately following Survivor Series, join us over on MF's channel, BraceFan95, as we will have our complete recap of the Survivor Series. And we'll find out who gets the bragging rights. Will I and Raw get the bragging rights for the 3rd year in a row? Or will this be the year where MF and SmackDown Live will finally have their moment in the sun? We'll have to wait and see. But whoever gets the bragging rights, well, they'll get to gloat for the whole show. So, I gloated last year, but MF had to bring me back to reality. So we'll see what happens. Monday night, of course, Ridiculously Raw. All the fallout from Survivor Series. We start the road to TLC. Same thing with SmackDown Live. Or I should say Cerebral Smack Talk or Rundown SmackDown Live. And Wednesday, our football feast. Ooh. The 3 NFL Thanksgiving games. And, of course, the college football slate. Huge matchups. Of course, the big one is Michigan and Ohio State. Oklahoma and West Virginia. So many great rivalry games. Iron Bowl goes right on down the line. And then, of course, we're off Thursday for Thanksgiving, obviously. And then Friday, of course, when we will be back with NFL Friday, our traditional NFL Friday show, and we'll take it from there. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for our NXT TakeOver War Games and Survivor Series preview edition of the Wrestling Forum, it's Anthony Floyo here for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF, Michael Fletcher, Didi Woodson, and Derek Forever. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for that big show, you've been watching this special Thursday edition of NFL Friday right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Floyo, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.